break down how to shift your entire mindset from just constantly reacting to life to actually strategically shaping it. We're talking about moving from playing checkers to playing chess. Does that hit home for you? You know that feeling? You sit down at the board of your own life and it feels like you're already behind, just responding to moves that somebody else made. You're always reacting, you're never really choosing. I mean, think about a typical day. You wake up, what's the first thing you do? Probably check your phone, right? You're reacting to messages, replying to emails, rushing through a to-do list. And by the end of the day, you're just wiped out. Yeah, you were busy, but did you actually get any closer to what you really want? That, right there, is first move thinking.
Okay, so here's our roadmap. First, we're going to shift our mindset. Then we'll look inward to really figure out our role. After that, we'll analyze the board and the other players. And finally, we'll bring it all together by learning how to play the long game.
All right, let's dive into this first big idea. It's all about changing the fundamental question you ask yourself every day. Shifting from what should I do right now to, okay, but where will this lead?
See, this kind of thinking is really just about short-term survival. There's this story of a taxi driver who drove the exact same route for 20 years. He made enough to get by, sure, but he was always in the exact same spot on the board. He never lost, but here's the thing, he never won either. He was just avoiding the next pothole.
And this contrast just lays it all out, doesn't it? One path is about just not falling down, but the other is about deliberately walking towards a destination you've chosen. It's the difference between being a passenger in your own life and being the driver holding the map. So just take a second and really ask yourself this. Are you spending your days putting out fires, just trying to get through? Or are your small daily moves part of a bigger intentional strategy? Are you actually building something, or are you just treading water? Now, this whole idea of strategy, it builds on something absolutely crucial. You can't play the game well if you don't even know which piece you are on the board. So now, the focus shifts from the game to the most important player, you. It's a wild thought, isn't it? Most people never really ask this. It's like stepping onto a football field without knowing if you're the goalkeeper or the striker. You just run around, you get tired, but all your effort is kind of chaotic because it isn't aligned with your natural position. Just think about these core archetypes. So many people feel like they're failing simply because they're playing the wrong role. A natural creator who's forced to manage day-to-day routines is going to feel drained and frustrated. A great manager trying to invent something totally new from scratch, they might feel completely lost and ineffective. I heard this story about a woman who worked in a huge corporation, and she felt like a total failure because everyone around her kept saying that real success was starting your own business. But when she finally got honest with herself, she realized she loved building and improving systems inside an established structure. The second she owned that role, it was like this massive weight just lifted off her shoulders.
Okay, so once you know your role, the very next step is to understand the cost of every single move you make. And as you're about to see, the most important costs, well, they're rarely the obvious ones.
We're actually great at calculating the obvious costs, time and money, but we almost always ignore the hidden prices. Things like lost focus, missed opportunities, a hit to our reputation, or just plain old burnout. Every single move has a price tag. Think about a young entrepreneur who said yes to every single client because, well, he needed the money. The obvious cost was his time and his energy. But the hidden cost, he spent years on tiny projects that didn't build his business one bit. He bought himself busyness, but he completely sacrificed his future. And this is a big one. Sometimes the most expensive move you can make is no move at all. We tell ourselves we're preparing or just waiting for the right moment. But a lot of the time, that's just an excuse to avoid making a move. That guy didn't lose in some spectacular failure. He just forfeited the game without ever even catching a piece. Now, beyond the price of your moves, you have to think about the other players around the board. The people you spend your time with have a massive and often invisible influence on your game. Their doubts can become your doubts, and their support, that can become your greatest strength. So, let's bring all of this home. Our final section is all about playing the long game. And this isn't about being slow, it's about mastering the rhythm of knowing when to move fast and knowing when to wait. It's so easy to confuse progress with just being fast.
People rush because they're afraid of missing out, and they end up making sloppy moves that just lead to burnout. But strategic patience, that's not passive. It's active waiting. It's holding your position with confidence because you know you're saving your energy for the moment that truly matters.
Honestly, a great way to think about this is the gardener's mindset. You don't plant a seed and then dig it up every single day to check if it's growing. You do the consistent, kind of boring work of watering it, and you trust that the results will come. So many of us give up because we're just too impatient to see the seed sprout.
And that right there, that trust in the process, that's what allows you to build your position. It's like waiting for a bus. You can't catch the right one if you're not even at the bus stop in the first place. All that boring work, the learning, the building relationships, the saving money, that's what puts you at the right stop, ready for when the right opportunity finally arrives.
So, as we wrap this up, the focus comes right back to you. The board